Hey there, friends! This is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with another vlog because I have a thing in my head that I just gotta express to get out. And this one is about the upcoming Slipstream figure. Now, I found out watching TJ Omega's news roundups that he does every Monday that we are getting a Slipstream figure in the proper Generations line, like the main line of Transformers, which, believe it or not, is actually the first toy of her in that line. Yeah, the closest thing we've had to like a mainline Slipstream was the Takara Legends Slipstream, which was the Thrilling 30 remold of Windblade, and that came out a long time ago and was never officially released out of Japan. So technically speaking, this is America's first mainline Slipstream, which is kind of cool. The problem is that it's a Windblade repaint. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Windblade. This is a great figure. It looks a lot like the character as originally depicted in the comic, and it is great. It's posable. The jet mode is a little bit too square in parts, and the wings are too skinny. But, other than that, it's a really good-looking figure. But it's not a seeker, Like, Windblade is a female Transformer that turns into a jet, but she's no seeker. Like, we all know what a seeker should look like, right? If you're going full Cybertronian, then you get that whole Tetrajet-looking thing, or the spaceship. But, like, when most people think of a seeker, they're thinking of something that looks very much like an F-15, with the dual tail fins and the null rays on the wings. And then, like, I don't even have to transform this one because it's the core class. When it turns into robot mode, you got the cockpit in the middle with the chest details, or like the jet intakes, Like, that's what a seeker is. That's the iconic look of a seeker. Like, across multiple universes, that's always been what a seeker looks like. And Windblade just doesn't have those features. Like, she doesn't have her cockpit on her chest. She doesn't have jet intakes on her chest. She has VTOLs on her wings, which would work if it's thrust, but, thrust is the only seeker that has VTOLs. And as far as I'm aware, they haven't made thrust female. More on that in a bit. So, yeah, what we actually really need is a legit, actual female seeker mold. To date, the closest thing we have to a proper mainline seeker mold is the third-party figure, Shrike's Feather, the Not Legends Slipstream. And this thing has all the hallmarks of what a seeker should look like, Like, she has the molding for her cockpit on her chest, she has her null rays, the wings are in the right place. Yeah, see? Looks good. Like, this is a proper seeker style of Windblade, of Slipstream. And the company that made it even made the other seekers in this color, including Starscream, which is hilarious because it means you can get yourself a Rule 63 Starscream out there. But yeah, like, there are some official toys of Slipstream, but, I wouldn't exactly call them that great. I mean, first of all, all three of them come from the Transformers Cyberverse line, which is not the main line, it's one of the cartoon lines. And quite frankly, they're not really good. I mean, you have the Scout class figure, which doesn't even have a proper jet mode. It has that weird Gerwalk thing that goes on. Then you have the Warrior figure, which wastes energy on some kind of spinny centrifugal force wing gimmick that and doesn't even have proper knees. And then you have probably the best one, which is the Ultra class, which has a really good-looking robot mode that actually looks like her show model. To be fair, that actually looks like the female seeker from Cyberverse, not just a Starscream repaint. But, again, it's compromised by a gimmick, and the figure doesn't even have knees. It has basic articulation in the arms, but, it doesn't even have knees. I don't think the head even moves on it. So, yeah, like, we seriously do need a proper female seeker mold. Not just for Slipstream, because as we know, there are more female seekers in the franchise now. Yeah, it's been happening since Cyberverse, but Slipstream is no longer alone in the female seekers. We had a bunch of random background characters, but, some of them have names. There's Acid Storm and Nova Storm from Cyberverse, and now also in Earthrise, are now female Seeker characters. And you know, like, they have a very distinct shape that's different from the male Seekers, so you can't just take Starscream and repaint him into them anymore. Even if they did sleek out Starscream, make him look a little bit sleeker than usual, he still doesn't look female. And funnily enough, okay, I'm going to go off on a slight tangent here, but they even made Skywarp one of the female Seekers. Freaking Skywarp. How did that happen, huh? I mean, like, think about it. Like, Skywarp is one of the big three. Like, you know, whenever you think of the Seekers, the first image that should come to your mind is Starscream flanked with Thundercracker and Skywarp on either side of him. Like, they are the Trinity, the three main Seekers. Like, I understand, like, there weren't a lot of female characters in the G1 cartoon because of good old-fashioned 80s sexism, so there's a lot of characters that you could plausibly retcon into being female. I also like how Cyberverse kind of did the same thing to the pterodactyl character from the Dinobots. That was hilarious. Swoop. For anyone who might question my nerd credentials, it was Swoop. But yeah, like, I understand, like, taking background characters that have a little bit of name recognition but no real characterization, like Nova Storm and Acid Storm. But to take one of the three, to take Skywarp and say, this character's a girl now, like, Skywarp has fans! I mean, Skywarp is Thew's favorite character! Like, how did that happen? Seriously. But, yeah, like, I actually made that comment on TJ Omega's last video, and he mentioned that the showrunners actually wanted to also make Thundercracker female in the Cyberverse cartoon, but Hasbro said no, apparently feeling that Thundercracker was more sacred to the fiction than Skywarp was. Personally, I think it's just because they didn't want to make it look like Starscream was just building himself a jet harem. But, yeah, so we have legitimately a lot more female Seeker characters right now, so we really should get a female Seeker mold. Not only for Slipstream, the first female Seeker, but for all these new ones that are coming out. Like, I mean, Hasbro's clearly not shy about making female characters anymore, so come on, like, do it. Like you can make your Slipstream figure, and then you can repaint her several times to make all the female Seekers there are. Not just Acid Storm, Skywarp, and Nova Storm. Holy crap, that's like 4 right off the bat. But also any random background Seekers that were in Cyberverse that never really had any lines, but you could see them. Like, that's so many excuses to make, like multi-packs and stuff. Right? And I just want to share anecdotes here. I know, like, how people get around female Seekers. Like, I was on the Transformers subreddit, and there was this one comment about there was a post that had the Seekers on there, and I talked about how, you know, basically this stuff. We needed a new female Seeker mold because, like, recoloring Windblade just doesn't cut it. And somebody commented, you know, like, you can just take the regular Seeker and put it in Slipstream's colors. You don't need to make a female mold for it. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, I can only think of 2 reasons why someone would say this. One would be the chud reason, like the, Cybertronians are genderless space robots. They have no need to present female. They just have to be in the default gender, male. Like, you know, those people. Yeah, insert David Willis comic. Like, yeah, like, these are the same people that probably freaked out when we actually were given a canonically out-and-out saying non-binary Transformer character. Like, hey, here's an officially non-binary robot from space that's neither male nor female. Congratulations, you got what you wanted. By the way, I love that guy. I love Nightstorm. He's awesome. Yeah, I finally actually did get around to watching Earthspark, and it's really good. I love it. But yeah, seriously. And then there's the other reason, which is like, your female characters don't need to look like sexy Barbie doll characters to be appealing. I would like it just as well even if she looked like a big burly guy, because I'm not shallow. Like, if that's a reason, then dude, shut up. Like, look, I have Override Prime. I have Clobber. And I went through great expense to get myself a Striker. Like this is secondhand because, like, she was an exclusive, you know? Like, one of those. And I went through a lot of effort and expense to get this. So, like, you know, I don't need my female Transformers to be sexy little robo-bimbos. Like, you know, I know. What I'm saying, however, is that, you know, Windblade doesn't look like Striker. Not Windblade. Slipstream doesn't look like Striker. Slipstream has always been an obviously female-presenting character, from when she first appeared in Transformers Animated, to the way that they modified the way the Seeker mold looks for the Seeker model looks in Cyberverse, and like the new female Seeker model in Earthspark, like they all look notably different. There is gender presentation there. You can't just take a male buck and paint it in the colors and try to call it female. That won't work. Like, you need a mold that actually looks feminine to capture the looks of these characters. And like I said, although Windblade is a very nice female presenting figure, she doesn't look like a Seeker. We need a character that both looks like a Seeker and female. And I would really like to see that in, like, you know, the Transformers line sooner rather than later. I mean, I could hope that they would make, like, a Thundercracker figure for the Earthspark line, but we, like, you know, the Earthspark figures aren't exactly great. Actually, I have an object lesson for this. Yeah, like, this is the only real Earthspark toy that I have. It's Twitch. I love Twitch. I think she's great. Now, the robot mode actually looks really good. But, you know, the thing is, like, you know, in the toy lines based directly on the shows, like, they don't really respect scale. Like, everyone is a deluxe. There's no Voyagers or Leaders or Cores. Like, so everyone is about the same size. So, like, Twitch, a character who's barely a head taller than a human, actually is the same height as Megatron, and it makes her look like she has this big giant head. Or it just makes everyone else look like they have tiny pinheads because they're supposed to have heads that are roughly the same size, except that you're looking at a character that's 30 feet tall, and you're trying to stand it next to a character that's maybe like 6 or 7 feet tall, and then you're you know, presenting the same size. It just doesn't work. So, like, yeah, like, probably is going to be way out of scale, and, like, frankly, even though this is a pretty good example, and some of the Earthspark toys are really nice, like, the engineering just isn't up to par with the main line. Like, for example, look what happens if I move her arms down out of the way. Like, her chest literally does not click into place. There is nothing there's no peg, there's no slot, there's nothing that holds her chest in. Like, this figure, it's just not that well engineered. So, like, I really don't want, like, my representation of the female Seeker mold to be given to us in a line that's not going to get as much of an engineering budget as, like, the main line. So, yeah, that's my arguments. That is what I feel needs to be done in the Transformers line, and why I believe that we will be needing to get a proper female Seeker mold in the main line of Transformers. So let me know in the comments if I'm just some crazy rambling dude, or if you feel that this is actually a legitimate thing that collectors like us can really sink our teeth into as far as discussion goes. This is Wake Angel 2001 signing off.